Who?
Call. He's not here.
Not here.
You have to pick somebody in. Change his plan.
At least someone doing the application.
You can
Call this meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Get the invitation.
Invitation by Bill John, please.
Stand, please. Our gracious Heavenly Father, let's thank for this day and the rain that brings forth the green and the growth. And if you guide and direct each and every one of us here, that we might do your will for the Cherokee people, and give each and everyone here traveling grace as they travel to and from these meetings. And let's be ever cognizant of the troops overseas that are in harm's way, that are protecting our freedoms. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Roll call.
Curtis Snell,
Yes.
Chris Soap, Bill Anglin,
Here.
Bill John Baker,
Here.
Jack Baker, Harley Buzzard,
Here.
Julia Coates, Brad Cobb, Joe Crittenden,
Here.
Jody Fishinghawk, here. Meredith Braley, here. Janelle Fulbright, here. Don Garvin, Chuck Hoskin Jr.,
Here.
Tina Glory Jordan,
Present.
David Thornton,
Chris.
Kara Cowan Watts,
Ani.
and John Masters.
Go.
We have a quorum.
Approval of the August 17th meeting minutes. I need a motion.
Second.
Mr. Chair, I have a correction. On the third page, the Columbusky Courthouse is misspelled. It should be TAHLONTESKEE. And I knew that'd be correct.
Second.
Corrected. Now I need a motion on that.
Second.
Second.
As corrected.
Second. Any opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Natural Resources, Angela Drews.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. Okay, for the month of September, we've been fairly busy, of course, with our usual land maintenance items that we work on in addition to the holiday and helping with things around here. We felt like we were meeting ourselves coming and going. On the monthly report that you get from me, there is a chart in there that shows the different land development projects that we planned on accomplishing for 2007. There are 4 items on there that we have reached the percentage of what those things are going to be completed. And I wanted to just let you know because next month will, of course, be the last month for the fiscal year. On new fencing, we're currently at 41%, and the reason that did not get accomplished was due to the ice storm damage that we had. For fence repairs, we had only planned 10 miles, and due to all the fence repairs that we had to make, we ended up doing 67.53 miles of fence repairs. So that and farm ponds, we're at 25%, timber stand improvement 10%, and fire guard maintenance 21%. All of those things somewhat took a back seat to emergency situations or Gadoogie projects and other things that just took precedence over those. So those things will be on there again next year, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more of those things accomplished. On the pond construction, of course, that would be on a lease unit. So those are things that if we can get them done, that's good. But if it's something that the lessee can go ahead and put on the unit at their own expense, then sometimes we'll take those types of things into consideration and work with them on when they're making improvements. We'll work on them with their lease fee. So what I'm trying to say is that if it's an emergency situation or it's a issue that needs our immediate attention, these are the type of projects that sometimes may take a back seat to the more pressing issues. But I wanted to bring that to your attention. Some other things that we did is we had the hay baled, or the grass baled from around the EMS building, and that hay went to the Heritage Center. It was donated to them so they could feed the animals that they have out there for the winter. We met with Del Thomas, which is a forester, to discuss a timber trespass and harvest on some restricted land in Adair County. I wanted to let you know, now that Robert Stokes has gone on and taken employment with another company, David Justice, which some of you I know have met and worked with. He is in that acting position, and he has also applied for the position that Robert was in. So if you are to contact Geodata and want to speak with the administrator of the program, David Justice is doing that job. Today I met with the Department of Interior. They have presented to me a proposed wildland fire prevention plan that would be for 2008 through 2012. The portion of preparedness, fire preparedness, that we already compact from the Bureau allows us to do things such as hazardous fuels reduction, doing our fire guards. So it's things that prepare us for not having wildfires. It's a prevention measure. As part of prevention, there's also education and prosecution, and we have never compacted those dollars. So today I was given a draft prevention plan for education and prosecution that's about that thick. So I'm going to start trying to wade through that and see if there's anything in there that needs correction or addition or deletion, and hopefully I will have that reviewed and possibly try and have a resolution to you on the next meeting for us to try and adopt that plan. Natural Resources responded to 213 requests during the month of August. The biggest things were real property, folks calling us, wanting to sell us something or following up on property that they brought to us previously. And then the other big number item was Geodata and GIS requests. We do a lot of map production. A lot of people call for jurisdictional boundary calls. So there was 183 things that were responded to out of our GIS Geodata program for the month. Last month, you had some requests of me. I made note of the ones that I've been able to accomplish. I continue to try and contact Representative Smithson. He and I have just been playing phone tag, and we've left each other messages, so I'll continue to try and get with him on some of the possibilities of relocation of Talentesky. Also, I keep in touch with Linda to see what progress we're making on getting the deed signed over from the Historical Society, because I don't think we should be moving anything until we have that. So I'm just trying to keep up with those two items. Sent information through Ginger regarding the request for the historic information on the Heavy Equipment Operators School. And Harley, I trust that Woody provided you with the information on that. Sent information through Ginger regarding the historic sites list in the tribe's cultural tourism plan. When we were talking about Talentesky last month, somebody had requested a list of the sites that would be on the tour, and so I provided that list to Ginger as well. Don't know if you've seen that yet. We have done some preliminary research on property that's located on I-40 and Highway 2. I believe that was brought to me last time by Mr. Garvin. So we have looked at that, and we've actually sent that on over to C&E for them to go take a look at it. And the other and last item on my report for the month was to find out if you guys still wanted to have your October fish fry, and if so, have you been thinking about a tentative date for that? This time it would be at Full Hollow.
I move that we have at 11 o'clock the regularly scheduled day of our next tribal council meeting.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is there a chance we could move that to Muskogee County?
Well, the reason that we have them where we do is because that's where our staff is located. And it's a way to,
We might move it around a little bit to,
well, that means pulling the staff from the work location and having them transport all the cooking stuff to Muskogee, and
I bet they could do it.
probably could.
Make a motion, Don.
And the other thing is, that's where our two large holdings of land are, and we usually, if anybody wants a site visit that day, we take people on tours. So it's the pleasure of the committee, whatever you guys want.
Bill, got a question?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I believe that date would be the 15th of October for that day. And Don, I think that's just a pregnant idea, but I think as they open up the clinic, the health department needs to feed us over there and give us a grand tour.
That'd be a good idea.
I'd certainly like to encourage the new or even the older tribal council members to take a tour of those tribal lands there in Delaware County. There's over 24,000 acres up there that has a lot of natural resources on. So I'd encourage the tribal members to do that.
Any questions?
Anybody that would be interested on going on a field tour, contact Kathy Nelson.
I think we're arranging.
And she's at extension 5671.
No question?
I think our council staff is arranging a tour of all of our facilities, but thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, Angie, I know, and you've probably been asked this question before I came on the council here, but is there any plans for the pine trees that are planted up there? Have we looked at trying to harvest those or trying to do something with them other than like a thinning process or anything like that?
We've actually brought two different foresters out to look at the pines. Their recommendation to us, Harley, was there's some of those trees that are going to be ready within the next year or two. They're mainly the ones on the perimeter that they actually have a market for, because the ones more on the interior are not big enough yet to have a market for them. One of the things that we run into when we start looking at people to bring in is Woody, has sort of a love relationship with those trees up there because, of course, he's been planting them and babying them, ever since we've been planting trees. He is very leery about bringing in contract people to come in and do thins because, you've got to be really careful because we know what contractors can come in and do. They'll scrape and rape and leave it a total mess. So we're trying to be very particular about who we bring in. But yes, we do have plans on harvesting. Once we do the harvest, we have talked about we most likely will not do another pine plantation. We'll go back with more native hardwoods.
But the other thing that I thought about, and you just said a while ago, those on the outside are trees this big now. And that's simply because the inside hasn't been thinned out to give those other chances to grow. So
you're right, but the foresters that have come in and looked at those said that it's by far the best pine plantation that most of them have ever seen. And the problem that we have with that is having enough staff to continually stay in there and thin those trees. So we have looked in the past at trying to do some piecework where we could hire some of the local folks in the area to come out and pay them.
well, I think it's a shame. We have pine trees that's planted for 25 years up there, and we've done absolutely nothing. If we're going to have them, we need to do something, a plan to get those things harvested out of there. Would it be possible to get a forester to come in and address this committee?
Sure they could. We have a company right now that's writing a forest management plan, and you can even get dollars for the pines that are not being harvested. They're called carbon credits, and we're also looking at other ways to make money off the ones that aren't ready for harvesting, but I'm sure we could do that.
If it pleases this committee, I'd like to request a forester to come in the next couple of months to address the council committee here about that. I have one more follow-up question, not on the pine, but on the compact of bureau on those programs you're talking about. How much dollars are you talking about, Angie?
Which portion?
The one you gave the report about you talked to them a while ago and they asked you to see about compacting that particular program?
$75,000.
That's all. Thanks, Doug.
Any more questions?
Should we still have a motion on the floor for the fish fry on the 15th at 11?
Call a question.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, vote? Yes?
No, question, that one.
Question?
Yeah, and if that was a motion for Harley's to have a forester come in, I'd second that motion.
I make that in form of motion.
Motion, second.
Mr. Chairman, could I get clarification? Harley, are you asking that I have a forester come in, or are you going to choose?
Yes, no, I'd like for you to do it, but I don't know.
Okay, sure.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? More questions?
Did you say you gave us out a written report of your comments today?
Actually, I believe that Ginger Brown will be giving you any of the things that you asked for in the past. She'll get those to you. Now, you get a report from Natural Resources that is a monthly report. So you should, I guess that's still in your packet. I don't know how they're presenting.
Well, that was my question. Did I miss it in my packet?
It should look something like this. I don't know how they give it to you guys now. But I do a monthly report, so I don't know what you see and what you don't see.
I would like to have a written report monthly of your comments.
Okay. I send one out. I just don't know.
I would like to put that in form of a motion.
I'd second that.
Second? Vote?
Aye.
Vote on it? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Dawson.
Good afternoon. Okay. Real estate services. This past month in August, we received 1,070 phone calls. We met with 110 individual clients, and our people went out and did 67 site inspections on potential trespass and other issues. We had 4 probate inventories. We did 9 home visits, 7 jurisdictional calls. We had 3 quiet titles come in. We had 7 will interviews, and 3 wills were completed before a judge. And those were full-blood Indians. And we also had 6 hunting leases on restricted land come back approved from the BIA. And one thing about these hunting leases, in the past 5 years, they were $1 an acre on the hunting leases, and we're now getting $10 an acre. So it has increased fairly well. It took a bit to try to force those appraisers into giving more value to them, because they were trying to use hunting leases that you already had to establish other hunting leases. And if you're using $1 on the time, you don't get anywhere. So finally we got them out of that pattern into giving a better value, and now we're up to $10 an acre. So the restricted Indians who have land that we lease have more money going into an account now than it used to be. So that's helped a lot of people out on that part. The Collinsville Cemetery, the 3 acres, Buell brought that to us originally, I believe, and the county of Tulsa did deed that over to us. So that's a done deal, and that's why you're going to see in a minute that we've got a resolution on here to take care of that. The Ramona property that we were working on with the Shawnee family to potentially put a casino out there, we did get an archaeological survey completed. We are still working on getting a traffic study so that we can finish our environmental to try to put that lease together and finally get that presented to the Bureau. So that's where we are on those things. Did anybody have any questions? And Bill, I did talk to Bob Coleman about our patent piece, and he promises to get that worked on and done.
Have any questions?
I have a question. Phil, I wondered if you had any information on the Washington case that we visited about before. Family in Washington lives in my district, but I believe the property was in Sperry. If you don't, we can certainly visit afterwards and what you think.
Okay, we'll visit after. Okay.
No questions?
Linda, did you get a request to look into Smith home over at number 2?
Betty Smith?
I hadn't gotten anything back.
I think that was forwarded on to Justice because they have the information there to, I believe Mason Morton is supposed to be working on a probate on that. And I do know that she had 11 kids, and I believe they all have claim deeds over to her. So I think what the plan kind of was on that was to try to get that probate in motion, and then to follow that with a deed approval so that it puts it back into her name. Her husband originally intended for her to have the property totally and did a will, but still has a small problem with it.
And that's my second question. Might your department be willing to share with the attorneys, and you probably know most of them that do a lot of the full blood wills that are being done independently out in the communities, you might want to consider sharing the paragraph you prefer to be used for the judge to sign, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there, the wording.
Right, and I think I've seen some that just say acknowledged, which is not going to work, and some that say approved, and it's not going to work. You've got to have at least acknowledged and approved. Those two words have to be there. And we do have a paragraph that is usually used.
Well, I know years ago, I inquired to you all as to the proper wording, but there's a lot of attorneys that don't, and we're getting these 1 and 2 line
Right, they're missing.
approvals that are not working.
We've had 2 within the last couple of months that I've seen, that one of them said acknowledged, the other one said approved, and I don't think the solicitor's going to accept either.
I think a letter with your wording to each law office would take care of that, and you probably wouldn't have the problems crop up that have cropped up on this one. If you tell them what your preference is, I'm sure that's what they would use.
Okay, I think that probably will be a help. Maybe even get involved with the law of the Bar Association to try to get that taken care of. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, anything
Questions?
else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roads and Transportation, Michael Lynn.
Good afternoon. I'll start with our federally funded projects, or IRR funded projects. Cedar Crest Road and Cedar Crest Bridge in Mays County. We're still in right-of-way acquisition on that. We are waiting on an appraisal to come back of a gentleman's property around the bridge area. And in negotiations with some other landowners on the road project. The road project is coming along as far as right-of-way goes. I think we've got a meeting with one landowner this week, and I believe is going to sign the easements necessary, so we are moving along on that. Daytown Dry Creek project in Delaware County is moving along fairly well. Got a report of some Hispanic workers up there. A couple of weeks ago, we sent that to Taro. I believe they're checking into that and seeing what the issue is there. But that is being looked into. But overall, the project is moving along. They're starting on some box drainage structures, putting those in place, getting those constructed. They're starting on the south end and working to the north. Fairview Road, Fairview Phase 2, also in Delaware County. We've got asphalt going down right now. That's scheduled to be completed in around December. Hopefully before the first of the year gets here, first of the calendar year, that'll be completed and out of the way. But it's a really good looking project and it's progressing very well. Honey Hill project in Adair County, still in the same situation, waiting on right of way. It's all been turned over to the district attorney. We have turned 2 projects over to the district attorney. One of them here in Cherokee County, the Rice Woodard Road, and the Delaware County one has been turned over to the district attorney for some time now. And the one here in Cherokee County having to move faster. I really don't know the answer. I've sent emails inquiring and haven't got a response, but we are continuing to work with them, as well as our legal department over here is working with them as far as some paperwork preparation, things like that. But it is moving a little bit slowly. Red Barn Road here in Cherokee County, as I've reported on this in the past, it's been a kind of a slow go with the weather. We've had some utility problems out there. We've actually asked for confirmations back from the utility companies that we're working with that their utilities have been relocated. We would get invoices from them stating that they had been. Come to find out they weren't. Either they weren't relocated or they were in the wrong place, wrong depth, things like that. They have gone out and checked and rechecked all of those, and we have gotten some confirmation back. I believe we're waiting on two different, one telephone and one water company. But the contractor was turned loose, if you will, right after the holiday, September 4th, to proceed, and so we are moving along on that one. Hulbert Lost City connects right into that Red Barn Road towards the Hulbert area, or towards the, actually 14 Mile Creek's where it comes out. Grace Hudlin Road is also known as. Approximately 90% design. Hopefully at the by the first of the year, December, it's supposed to be completed design, and we'll move into the right-of-way acquisition phase. Rice Woodard Road, I mentioned that real briefly a minute ago. We've actually filed condemnation on 5 separate parcels of land. 2 of those 5 have signed, and we've gotten word that another one will sign. We've got a meeting with her at the end of this week, and hopefully she'll sign. That'll bring it down to 2 landowners that we're needing easements from. And once we get those easements, we'll move into the utility relocation phase. Twin Oaks Bull Hollow Road, approximately 75% designed. That's there in Delaware County. Runs near the Bull Hollow office where the fish fry will be located or have held. And it's moving along in design. Barber Road, I wanted to mention that one. I don't believe I've mentioned it in the past, but it is kind of a hot topic there in the office. That is actually in the Community Services report. You may have been briefed on a Dry Creek water line. It's a self-help water line project. That water line is scheduled to go down this Barber Road that we have on our system. When we all, in working together with one another, we realized there was a little bit of overlap, and so they've actually put that portion of the water line on hold to move on to and work on another section of the water line. I don't know a lot about it, but we are striving to get that project designed, scheduled to be designed, and right-of-way acquired by the end of March. That's awful fast. They tell me we can do it, and I'm going to hold them to it because it is holding up the water line to an extent. But we've all worked it out, and I think that if the road gets designed and the right-of-way acquired, then it shouldn't. What I'm being told, it shouldn't hold up the water line any. That's in Cherokee County too, by the way, if I didn't mention that. Kenwood Road rehab, it's in Delaware County. That's going from Kenwood towards Highway 10. That's designed, but we're waiting on some information to come back from the Delaware County Commissioner on some bridges that he's trying to seek funding for. So we're just waiting on that to hear back. And then lastly, I want to mention the casino interchange in Rogers County. We are in negotiations with Oklahoma Department of Transportation. We received a memorandum of agreement from them last week, and it is being reviewed by our legal staff, and it's prepared by ODOT and being reviewed by our legal staff to find out if it's signable, I guess, by the Cherokee Nation. We're looking to contribute money towards that project to try to speed that project up by actually a couple of fiscal years. It was scheduled to be let in 2011, and I think if everything is worked out like we mentioned, it'll go to move to 2009. So that's all I had to report on our federally funded projects. Got a question?
Got a question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd asked Linda about this quietly, but I think I formally need to ask, and you may have to work in conjunction. Would you officially inquire to make sure that we gave up nothing to the city of Catoosa for that road on the casino property, and that there was no formal writings that gave them any kind of indication that it might be any type of their road? Because that is our road. And the newspaper reported something that made me think differently, which is of great concern, and I know neither myself nor any of the Cherokee Nation staff were with our casino folks when that's
Timber Crest Road.
And then that's the road that runs kind of a horseshoe in front of the casino, right? Okay.
And could you get back to me in writing too, and that could be an email? I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'll move on to our non-IRR project, Tribal League.
Question,
Michael, those dollars that you're going to be contributing, are they travel dollars or they are IRR dollars?
IRR dollars. They're from our federal funding.
Chris?
Can you just review that project real quick, not in detail, but just kind of update me personally on what our intentions there are?
On the casino.
access.
Okay, the interchange there is in bad need of redesign. You've got several major highways coming together, as well as interstates and U.S. highways coming together all at one point right there. That definitely has an impact on our economic development there at the casino. And it was our hopes and intentions to try to improve that as quickly as possible. To try to move along with the casino expansions and construction that the casino has going. This project, as far as ODOT is concerned, has kept moving forward, I should say, year after year. Harley can attest to that. I think when this all began, they were scheduling around 08, 09. We've seen it out as far as 13. We've got them down to 2011, and we're trying to work it down to 2009.
Signal lights or turn lanes or?
No, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
I'm just trying to get a visual picture for the scope of the...
Complete redesign, $54 million job, complete total reconstruction. It won't look anything like it does today. So,
I believe it's a 5-lane when we go east to west.
Yes.
Gary, you have a question?
Yeah, and it's a follow-up. I think that Councilman Soap had a great point, and we kind of went through this on email. You saw the exchange, City of Claremore. I don't think the City of Catoosa is prepared to interpret ODOT's plans. Is there a chance that we can get a more non-technical friendly drawing to show the phases and the end result kind of thing, and prepare it for this council, and maybe I can use it out in the public too, because I think there's a need for that, and they obviously can't address that.
Yeah, we've got some drawings there in the office that I can certainly present to the council to show what Kara's talking about.
David Thornton?
Just during the regular report, if you'll bring it back next month, that would be appreciated.
Okay.
Thank you. And if I could have it electronically, I could share it easily.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
David, you have a question?
Michael, there's a lady lives down on, I think it's Wilson Rock Road, south of Mile Road, and she keeps calling me, and I keep telling her I don't think there's anything we can do, but if you would contact her and make, and let her know, she don't seem to want to listen to me.
Okay. I think, I don't remember her name, but I remember the Wilson Rock, and I think...
It's Classy, Linda, or
I think I've spoken with her, but I'll try to reach her again. Okay.
I think that's a private road, and probably she's not Cherokee. I don't really think we have any programs that help her.
What was the name of the road again?
I think it's Wilson Rock.
Wilson Rock.
Yeah, she lives at the end of the road down there. She says.
Okay. Our tribally funded projects, actually kind of a different month. We've got 3 of them coming back to the Executive Finance Committee this month. They're actually credits coming back to individual tribal council members. That's monies that have gone unspent. It's kind of hard to believe or understand, but the projects actually came in under. It doesn't amount to a lot of money, but we've got 2 of them in Mays County, the Town of Strang Road overlay and the Town of Strang striping project. Just a little over $1,000 there, $435 on the road and $662 on the striping project, and then 1 in Rogers County. Councilperson Watts and myself met with the City of Catoosa on a Port City Baptist Church driveway that had been approved by the Executive Finance to improve a drainage on a driveway of a predominantly Indian church. It was a pretty minor project, and it's been going on a long time. City of Catoosa finally said, we'll just take care of the issues. So to the Cherokee Nation now, it's a moot point. So that $376 will be going back into Councilperson Watts' account there in Rogers County for a total of $1,473. And that's all I have for those funds right now. I just talked to Doug a second ago, and our deadline to get those to Doug is the 17th. So we've got about 7 more days or so to get any requests in that anyone might have. I don't know how much money is left out there right now. I know in October is when the next round of appropriations will be. So that's probably when I expect to have more applications for those type of projects. That's all I have to report this afternoon.
Any more questions? Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Facilities, David?
Good afternoon. Facilities, we were very busy last month with the holiday and all, and the projects that we had scheduled. The upgrades on the powwow grounds, the holiday strip, and the car show area. We finished those, and we also finished the Marcoma Gym and the installation of the softball field scoreboards. And the holiday went very well, except for the powwow grounds restroom.
What?
Powwow grounds restrooms. They were just overcrowded, and as soon as we get a start date on that project, I'll let everybody know. We have had some roof repairs done this summer, but with the
Mr.
heavy
Chair, may I interrupt you while we're at the pertinent topic? So when we asked this last month, Mr. Enlow insisted that it would begin almost as soon as holidays were over, because I may personally be digging ditches out there if I don't see this work begin. I mean, because it's serious. We did this a year ago and it got delayed, so.
Well, we're still waiting to, because of cost increases and things of that nature, they're still trying to get, find out some way to cut the cost where they can actually do the project. We've been getting some outrageous bids on it, and so they're just trying to.
And I don't recall a cost proposal being submitted with the 2008 budget. I mean, I'm still digging through the budget, but where is that submitted?
There was $250,000 for that project.
I think originally it was like 150 or 200. So I don't know what has been, I haven't checked to see what's been expended on that.
I'll check on
The
that.
time is now.
That's true. But we will have it done.
Neil?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And while we're on that same subject, Karen and I, we proposed this a year ago about getting this, and then there was a disaster that happened out there this week, that Saturday night when you had to shut all the restrooms down. And, but then I was talking to Councilman Soap about this. I mean, we had over 7,000 people there on Saturday night, and I mean, it was a traffic jam. I mean, we need to look at a traffic flow problem out there, there was almost fights and everything else out there, road raging in there.
We may have to put in some turn lanes.
They need to do something. We can't continue to grow that powwow like it's growing and overlook, the progress that's happening out there. Thank you.
More questions? Are you finished, David?
I should be. No, we've had some roof repairs done this summer, but with the latest heavy rains, we've had a few new leaks, so we're working on those. The CD immersing classrooms, we have building trades working on the inside framework, and they're near completion. And we plan to start on electrical work next week. And we will also be starting on the Veterans Memorial landscape this week.
Dave, I don't have a question, I have a comment. I appreciate your crew taking those weeds down in front of our Cherokee Nation stand there in front, but I guess it's kind of a reflection of the Cherokee Nation appearance of our grounds. I know I'm not your supervisor, but that's one thing I'm going to be looking at every time I come to the complex. I did notice in front of that little breakdown in front of the main office, there's a bunch of photographs that's growing up in there where the flowers would be. So those are just comments, so I want you to know.
Thank you. We plan on doing more with landscaping, so
good.
We should look at that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Any questions? Thank you, Dave. Old business?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to amend the agenda. There was an item that we tabled last month that was left off the agenda. I'd like to make it number 3, and I think there's a copy in front of everybody. It's the resolution requiring implementation of the Cherokee Tribal Preference Policy on the non-trust land leases executed by the Cherokee Nation.
Second.
Motion second. All in
Motion second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Make it number 3.
And that would be resolution number 3. And who has a resolution on the lease between the Cherokee Nation and the Victor Christian Organization, Cherokee Organization?
That would be one that was submitted by Real Estate Services, and this is the property that we mentioned that the Tulsa County deeded over 3 acres to us, and the Victory Community Association is wanting to put a community building on that tract, and they will oversee the cemetery.
Move for approval.
Second.
Vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 2.
That is also a Real Estate Services resolution request that would be able to negotiate and or advertise for bid to lease Chilocco tribal units on fee and trust land and to waive the bond.
Move for approval.
Second.
Vote aye. Harlan, you got
I got a question. Why are we waiving the bonds?
Most generally, they pay up front anyway, and plus it's a difficulty in trying to get bonds from them and to be able to.
So you do get the money then?
Usually we get the money.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
any more questions? Thank you, Lynn. Announcements?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Mr. Chairman. This is pretty straightforward. Todd wrote it. It's the important part of it is be it resolved by the Cherokee Nation through this tribal council that a policy of Cherokee Nation tribal preference be imposed for tribal land leases administered by the Cherokee Nation, and that said policy be reported to the tribal council on implementation. We're not writing the policy. We're just asking that Real Estate Services comes up with a policy that meets our approval to give preference. We're not telling them that it's 10%. We're not telling them that it's 80%. We're not telling them, anything. We're asking that there be a preference, and they come up with a reasonable way to see that Cherokee citizens, to the best extent possible, can participate and be successful in these programs. I put that in the form of a motion.
I hear a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any more comments?
Announcements?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got an announcement. Let's see, Leda Maupin sent over an FYI that executive legislative conference has been canceled today. So we normally have it like at 5 o'clock, but we still need to go over for pictures.
Adjourn?
Move to
Any more
adjourn.
questions?
Second.
Adjourn?
Aye.